I have a problem. You see, the majority of my comments are suggestions, and I just can't make them all. Some are pretty good, some are a bit weaker, and some are a sobble that just sits there and cries. But for once, I directly asked you for your ideas. So I'm going to be taking 5 projects that don't really work as standalone videos, but I thought might be fun to make. So yeah, they're bad YouTube video ideas, but as projects, they're pretty good ideas. And as an additional challenge, I'm going to give myself 5 days to make these 5 projects. And yeah, it normally takes me about a month to do a project. So to actually succeed, I asked for projects that were less than a foot tall. I bought all the other components and did all of the modeling ahead of time. And let's just say I wouldn't be able to do this without today's sponsor. And it's about to hit midnight on Monday, so let's get started. And to kick things off, we have a Nosepass that's a compass that always points north.
Hello and welcome to the lab shot on our new action camera we have. To start things off, we're gonna be printing this over on this thing.
And what is that exactly? Well, today's sponsor, Bambu Lab, sent me over their newest machine, the Bambu H2D, and its newly improved multicolor system, the AMS 2. And this is the most insane 3D printer I've ever laid my hands on. It has the biggest print volume I've ever had the pleasure of working with, which is great because some of the prints for the projects this week are really going to need that size upgrade. Not only is it the biggest printer I've ever owned, but it's also the most advanced. This thing has over 30 sensors, so you can just start a print and forget about it. But here's why the H2D is a big deal. It has dual nozzles. You see, all the projects I'm taking on this week are going to require multiple colors, which normally takes an absurd amount of time to print due to filament swapping, but now I have 2 nozzles to work with at the same time. And the Bambu Studio auto-calculates the optimal filament loadout, so doing 5 projects in 5 days is actually going to be possible. And what's even crazier is now I have the ability to combine soft materials with more rigid filaments. And you'll see later in the video that this makes some really cool things possible. So if you want to unlock new possibilities in your 3D printing game, check out the H2D and the AMS2 combo in my description, and thanks to Bambu Labs for making this video possible. Now, it's time to actually start this challenge.
And as of 1 minute ago, it just hit midnight, so I'm gonna go to bed and regret doing this challenge in the morning. Alright, to start things off, we have these 3 things. I know you're thinking, oh, that doesn't look like a Nosepass. Well, that's because Nosepass is still printing, and while he prints, I'm gonna have to do a little bit of coding with this. We have an Arduino Uno hooked up to this compass module thing, and we have this very special servo motor that can actually go 360 degrees all the way around, and you know what, it's nerd stuff. Let me just go code and I'll show you. Okay, I am back from my coding adventure, and I also have this guy.
Crazy Taxi!
Because we still don't have Nosepass, I figured this thing would still be a pretty good indicator of knowing which way is north. So all I have to do is plug it in. I mean, that's kind of working. 1 second. Okay, I'm back, and I think I got it working this time. Plug her in, and ka-chow. Now in theory, when I rotate both of these together, the arrow should still point towards you. Okay, yeah, there we go. I think we're good to actually put this all together. All right, we're about ready to plug it in, and just in time, look who came off the printer. Now if I pull out my compass app, I can determine where north is exactly, directly that way. Okay, now in theory, when I rotate this whole thing, he should still be staring at the wall. Hey, yeah, takes a little while, but he finds his way back home. That's north. And it takes him a while, but he figures it out. What a fun little desk toy. And the great thing about him is that he's portable, so if you're somehow like lost in the woods, you could find your way home, I think.
Oh, thank God. I'm saved.
So from my box of stuff, we have this, because tomorrow's project is going to be Belibolt plus plasma ball. So I just need to make a Belibolt whose belly will be bolted by this big bulbous globe. and I need to stop getting distracted by this as soon as possible because this is actually a little too fun to play with.
So I measured everything out and cooked up this model, and when it came time to print, I actually wasn't paying attention to the height of the model, so thankfully the new H2D was big enough to handle this because my other printers wouldn't have been able to. All right, day 2, pardon the bedhead, but very early in the morning I got a notification from the printer that there were some spaghetti defects. It happens from time to time. That just means something was kind of not going great with the print. But I realized I don't have time for a redo, so I just told it to continue. And so far, I think it's holding up just well. I mean, there's a lot of like literal spaghetti in the middle there, but I think we can clean this up and it will still look perfect. So shout outs to the H2D for recovering from that one.
Okay, so the reason this looks like, well, this, is I figured it out. This is the purge tower where it kind of wipes things down before switching between filaments. And as you can see right here, when we got to the orange filament, it started to fail. And that's because I haven't used this filament since the Fue Coco rice cooker video, which was ages ago. And so I could have done two things. A, I could have just not used this filament, or B, I could have used the AMS2 Pro to dry it out. And I decided to do neither of those, so that's my bad. Anyways, I'm gonna clean this guy up, and in a moment, we still should just be good to go. And one cut later, we have a fresh looking Belibolt, but I think we gotta put everything else on too. There we go. And before I put the plasma ball inside of its belly, I need to tint this up a bit because Belibolt's belly is actually supposed to be blackish. So fingers crossed I don't completely screw this thing up. Okay, it actually looks decent. Now we just slide this back in here, seal it up with some magnet snapping, of course. And now we can just turn it on. I'm assuming it's not gonna look good right away, but, well, you can't see it on camera yet, but it does work. Let me turn off the lights for you. There we go. This is really cool. I don't know, there's just something very, very satisfying and simple about this one. Like, there's not much more to talk about other than, wow, this is cool. And of course, it interacts with magnets like really crazy. Actually, it doesn't interact with magnets that crazy. But it's simple, it's cool. Again, I don't know what else I'm supposed to do video-wise other than this, so I guess it fits right at home within this video. On to the next one.
And up next, we have something that's been requested quite a few times. It's the Poliwag pencil sharpener from the anime. And being the pencil sharpener Pokemon guy, it's been requested so many times that even my good friend Johnny directly messaged me to make this. And thankfully, because my 3D modeling skills are a lot better than they used to be, this was a lot quicker and simpler than the Rock and Roller project.
The only thing I don't like about this so far is it kind of has the, you know, but that's okay.
So just like Rock and Rolla, I bought the exact same pencil sharpener and trimmed everything down as far as I could.
All right, we are looking just like the Rock and Rolla pencil sharpener, pretty much exact. And we just gotta glue down this piece so it stays down forever and ever and ever. Now that we have this, we can just friction fit it into the back here, hopefully. All right, we got the friction fit in there, and now we just need to seal it up. Unfortunately, I didn't really think of any clever tricks here. So because this was a one-day build, we're just gonna be sticking to a little bit of good old-fashioned putty. Just gotta swish it in there. All right, now we have, of course we have to have some sort of magnetism. Woo! You know, you can kind of wag it around a little bit. And it does stay up, but you gotta be a little particular with it. And there we go, we have our Poliwag pencil sharpener straight from the anime. All right, here we go. Time to test it out. Hey, I call that a success. a little awkward. I had to hold some things down and I almost dropped the pencil, but hey, that all right. Eh, not bad. And now Roggenrola has a little pencil sharpening buddy. Isn't that great?
Next up, we have a Wobbuffet that's a literal punching bag. I'm kind of surprised this hasn't been made in real life already. Now the plan is to take this desktop punching bag and use some stretchy and soft TPU filament, along with this hollow Wobbuffet I designed. And here's something I've never done before. You see, I'm going to be able to screw in this Wobbuffet by embedding a hard plastic PLA nut in the middle and then surrounding it with the squishy TPU, so hopefully this just works out. And this was a full day print, so thankfully it worked out the first time, otherwise this entire video would have been in jeopardy. And this is where I learned TPU can be pretty stubborn to pull off.
Oh, okay, he's free. Oh.
So all I needed to do was print off the tail.
Oh, get back here.
And paint in the gaps.
Now that's a face that looks so good, I don't even want to punch it. That's a lie, I'm gonna go punch it. Time to test this out. Alright, let's try that again. Okay, the suction cup is kind of the weakest link. If I had a better suction cup, this would have been so much better. And I'm not gonna lie, it's actually getting a little weak towards the connection point. So if I only have one punch left, I know what I have to do.
Looks like Team Rocket's blasting off the
And finally, what you've all been waiting for, Wooper gun, which has surprisingly been suggested by multiple people, I guess. Now this Wooper print was going to be the longest one yet, and with the clock ticking, we've reached the point of no return. So everything's gonna have to work first try. And thankfully, it came out clean. But with only 8 hours left, the 5-hour tail print was going to have to be clean as well.
So not only was I able to print with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different colors, the pink bits were separate, but I was also able to print with 2 different materials. So we have our hard PLA and our squishy TPU, which you just can't do this with other printers, which I think is really cool.
Now all you have to do is fill the rear up with some water, screw in the tail, and let's just say this is still kind of a proof of concept.
I do have to admit, it does get a bit messy, but it does work. Sort of. Ah! Wait, that's my camera. I should. Okay. All right, let's calm down a little bit. So yeah, it's a bit messy. I don't think the tail is watertight. I probably should have redone that. But it is before midnight, and it did work. So I'm still gonna count this as a win.
So what else can I do with this? Target practice, I guess?
No, get there. Yes. Put her there. I really hope my landlord doesn't know about this channel.
So there we have it, 5 projects in 5 days. Now obviously some worked better than others, but for one-day builds, I was pretty happy with how everything turned out. And if you think you can improve upon my designs, you can access all my 3D files on my Patreon for just $5. And speaking of patrons, special thanks to the executive level patrons. Pow Pow, Don Necco, Grandma Watson, Jameson Zabalos, Zebermang, Harley Jean, Jimmers, Connor Rhodes, Marco Carini, Sally and Dave, and Evan Timmerman.